Hi, I'm Underbelly, and you suck at producing. Compression is like Spanx. It squeezes together your loose and flabby parts so that the whole package seems tighter than it actually is. Compression works by turning down just the loud parts of a signal so that the volume is at a much more even level throughout. Let's see how it works. Okay, so check it. Here we have some of Derek's shit drums. Let's take a listen. Okay, so that's terrible. Notice the big difference in volume between the loudest parts of Derek's shit drums and the quiet parts. So what we're going to do is we're going to slap Curtis the compressor on there to make sure that Derek is playing at a more even volume. So let's take a listen. Okay, so right now, Curtis isn't really doing much, and this is because Derek's shit drums are so terrible, they're not even registering for Curtis's actual sound. So what we're going to do is we're going to give Curtis some vodka, which is going to lower his standards, and all of a sudden, he's starting to pay attention to Derek and his nice curves. And you'll notice that when Curtis gets excited, this orange needle starts jumping up and down, and this is showing us just how much gain reduction is happening. This is basically how much Curtis is turning down the loud parts of Derek's drums, in this case the kick and snare. So let's take a listen. Okay, so that's sounding pretty compressed there. And you'll notice that overall, Derek's drums have started to be a lot quieter than before Curtis came into the picture. And we're just going to add some makeup there, just slather it all over Derek's drums to make him look and sound more appealing. See, now don't you wish you could make up for all of your shortcomings with a simple twist of a knob? I sure do. Here's the thing. Let's go ahead and listen to what Curtis is actually doing here. So this is with Curtis in the picture, and this is without. So you notice that with Curtis in the picture, the whole signal sounds kind of squeezed together and punchier. You know, it might be too much, so a good middle ground is to put the dry wet at 50% so that we're hearing an even mix of the uncompressed signal and the compressed signal. So it sounds like this. And this is what nerds call parallel compression. Okay, so check it. Let's turn the dry wet back to 100%. Let's pay attention to some of the knobs we have around here. So the attack is the amount of time Curtis waits after Derek has gone above his threshold that he actually starts dampening down and compressing. So right now, Curtis waits around 3 milliseconds after Derek plays a shit drum for him to actually start acting. Let's make Curtis a little bit quicker by putting the attack to 0.01 milliseconds. Okay, so there the compression is even more extreme. So we want to give Derek some time to breathe here. Let's put it back to 3. And now let's go ahead and switch over to the release. So the release here is the amount of time Curtis waits after Derek has finished playing a kick or snare that he actually lets go. So it's the amount of time after Derek has gone back below Curtis's threshold that he actually lets go and stops compressing. So here's the thing. Right now, Curtis lets go pretty quickly, but as we give him more vodka, his grip becomes sturdier. So let's actually increase the release here. And now Curtis is going to wait 0.8 milliseconds before he actually starts to let go. And you'll notice that now it takes more time for the needle to fall back down than it did at our super fast release time. There he's super quick. And if we turn the release all the way up, it's much slower on the recovery there. Since Derek is, pretty fast here with his kicks and snares, we want the release to be pretty responsive. And finally, that brings us to the ratio. So the ratio is the relationship between the number of decibels going in and the number we actually hear coming out. So at a ratio of 2, for every 2 decibels that come over Curtis's threshold, we only hear 1 coming out. So it slices the amount of volume going over Curtis's threshold by half. Now if we turn the ratio up to 10, okay, it's starting to get real extreme there. Super compressed. And wowzers, so with the help of Curtis and, a little bit of makeup, Derek all of a sudden looks much more appealing to those around him, maybe even Sally. Okay, so check it. Today we learned how to use Curtis the compressor. Be sure to play with the attack, release, and ratio settings to get the sound you want, and you'll earn the validation of your father in no time. I'm Underbelly. Peace out.